Hi, welcome to the presentation for No Teacher Left Behind on the Road to STEM. First, let's start with a little introduction and information about me. My name is Nanney, and I am a proud student of the Educational Specialist Degree Program in Instructional Technology at Kennesaw State University. Professionally, I have served in a variety of roles located in Cobb County, Georgia, and Murfreesboro City Schools located in Tennessee. Most recently, I hold a position as a third grade teacher within Cobb County Schools at Soap Creek Elementary. Prior to that role, I was a school leadership intern for Soap Creek Elementary, and prior to that, I was a first grade teacher at Soap Creek Elementary. So I have served several different roles at my current school, which has given me a great perspective. Before that, I lived and worked in Tennessee and was a third grade teacher for Murfreesboro City Schools for over 6 years. So let's start with the capstone. The title of this is No Teacher Left Behind on the Road to STEM. So with any initiative, we always want to make sure that everyone that is part of the organization is on the same journey and is learning and growing along the way. However, we discovered a slight problem whenever we have new teachers hired on, that there's different people who are on different places in their journey, and we need those new teachers to make sure that they feel involved and a part of the vision and mission of the school. Here you see a graphic of Soap Creek Elementary STEM planning process. As you can see, there are several components, and as a new teacher or even a new hire who's been working for several years, this can seem a little overwhelming. Each time a grade level gets together to plan and implement a STEM unit, there are several components that are involved. As you can see here in the middle square, there's an interdisciplinary connections chart. Well, this is where it all starts. It starts with breaking down the standards, finding connections, and then finding an overall connection that's going to drive your STEM unit for a 9-week period. After that, then you plan a more of a linear approach and create a timeline. You can see here all the sticky notes that are really kind of creating the same timeline that you just saw on the previous slide. Well, again, if you are a new teacher or if you are new to this process, this can seem very overwhelming and you can get a little bit lost. So that's where we noticed a problem, is even though their STEM is becoming a broad topic and it's becoming one that is talked about frequently, there's different understandings of exactly what STEM instruction is and the planning for STEM instruction. So new hires are often in the learning phase, whereas previous staff members are in more of an application phase. They're still learning, but they're able to apply concepts and everything isn't new and fresh to them. Also, another problem is that there is pressure of Georgia Department of Education STEM walks. At the beginning of creating this capstone project, Soap Creek Elementary was working to earn their STEM designation from Georgia Department of Education. As you can imagine, this comes with a lot of pressure and a lot of eagerness to want to gain this designation. And so within that process, there are several walks that teachers gain feedback from. If you are new or just newly hired on, again, this is another component that can contribute to that feeling of being overwhelmed, even a little lost in the process. As a leadership team, we observed that the new teachers who were hired on were often feeling a little behind, a little bit confused about the STEM planning process within the time that the grade levels were planning their units. And so we decided that we wanted to make a plan. This plan consisted of 6 different steps. As a school, when teachers are hired on, they're automatically part of what's called the Soap Creek University. So this would just be an added component to the Soap Creek University that meets about once every month or so, just to get the lay of the land of the school. So the first one is just a meet and greet with the new hire teachers to explain the school, to explain the mission and vision, and also to explain this new added component of No Teacher Left Behind on the Road to STEM. The next meeting would be to conduct cross-curricular connections workshop. So this is the previous image that we saw that had a chart with several different squares where each subject was listed out and connections were made in between each of the subjects. This chart is designed to help with cross-curricular integration within your daily instruction. After that, teachers would then work with myself and plan this chart for their own grade-specific unit. After that, there would be another workshop, and this would be to conduct overarching questions workshop. Each unit contains one overarching question that is geared to drive the unit to the overall project at the end of the 9 weeks. After that, there would be another meeting with myself and the new hire teacher to observe their overarching question, the creation of it, and also their use of it within the classroom. And then lastly, we would assign mentor teachers to new hire teachers for continued support. As we know, learning is continuous, and it's important for the learning not to stop at these few workshops, for them to have a mentor to go back to and to ask their questions to, as we know that this is a continuous process. The evaluation plan. We want to understand and create cross-curricular connections. That's one of the major goals. Also, we want them to understand and create an overarching question. And then lastly, we want them to be able to actively participate in collaborative discussions during STEM planning sessions. We don't want them to simply just be a participant that sits and listens. We want them to be an active participant that contributes. The Capstone experience was very beneficial. We were able to use the discussions and the brainstorming sessions of creating No Teacher Left Behind on the Road to STEM as a way to help guide and train new teachers and even teachers who had been part of prior training sessions, and able to give them a few more resources along the way. This leads to the reflection of the Capstone experience. We've learned a great deal over the past 6 months, not only when it comes to this Capstone experience, but in education in general. We've learned to keep heading in the direction of our vision. We know that STEM is important for our students. We know that it's going to help prepare them for their future. However, while that journey may have slowed down a little bit in our momentum, with virtual learning being at the forefront of our learning, it is still part of our mission and vision and something that we work towards every day. Something else that we've learned is that changes can and will occur. Over the course of the changes resulted as a result of COVID-19, there have been many position changes, many teachers that are in different roles, myself included. When I began planning this Capstone project, I was serving in a leadership role. This allowed me to have more free time when it came to mentoring teachers, having meetings with them one-on-one, and now that I am a grade level teacher, that time is a lot more limited. We've also learned to take the temperature of your school and adjust your plan. Currently, teachers are bombarded with new apps to learn, new programs to learn, and a different mode of teaching than they ever imagined possible. So the workshops have definitely had to slow down a little bit and will be conducted at a later date. Credits and acknowledgments. All of this planning and discussions and really taking strides toward our mission and vision could not have been done without the support of the administrative team at Soap Creek Elementary. Those individuals include Dr. Doug Doherty, who is the principal at Soap Creek Elementary, Ms. Kendra Brooks, who is the assistant principal, and Dr. Whitney Spooner, who is the assistant principal. Those three individuals helped plan and mold what was the plan for this Capstone project, and we are excited to see the fruits of it continue to grow.